All right, what's going down? Today we're going to talk about why you're not getting freelance jobs. You might be. And if you are, you've clicked on this video just for a little bit of insight into, potentially stuff to avoid. Awesome, cool. That's a category of viewer as well. But I'm really going to be kind of gearing this towards the people who have been, really consistently trying to get work and it's just not working out for you. Or maybe you only pick up, a very small percentage of the jobs you apply for, stuff like this. We're going to talk about some of the things that could be contributing to this and some of the things to alter and just keep in mind going forward, right? And obviously we're also going to be ticking some boxes for some people who are doing everything right, who just want to watch this video and be like, oh wow, I'm not doing that, and I'm not doing that, and I'm not doing that. I'm fucking killing it. Shout out to you. I'm sure there's some of you watching. Big up to you. Let's get into this. So if you're not getting freelance jobs, it's actually very simple to fix. It's literally one of probably three key things. First off, be real with yourself. Do you suck at the thing that you're offering? Do you suck at the service? I'm assuming most of you do not, right? So don't get offended here. But surely one of you watching this actually just does suck. And, you're getting a little bit too ahead of yourself. You want the money, and you're actually looking like, oh, wow, look at this easy thing I could do for the money. But you're only thinking about the money. You're not thinking about the fact that you suck. You're just not good at this. I'm sure there's a very small percentage, but I'm sure there is still a percentage of people watching this that just don't actually have the kind of skills. You don't have the skill set. So first off, skills, key. 99.999% of you, I'm assuming if you clicked on this video, you've got the skills, and I assume you're self-aware enough to realize that you're either good or you're not good. It's subjective at the end of the day because we're dealing with creative stuff, and I'm coming at this from a video editor perspective, even though the title is freelance in general. I'm coming at this from the perspective of a video creator, right? So should be relatively black or white, whether you're good or not, whether your skills are actually worth selling. So first off, skill level, but again, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt and assuming the majority of you have a good enough skill level. That's why you've kind of come to the conclusion that you should be freelancing, right? Pretty key. We're going to assume everybody's got the skills. Next up is just presenting your work. This is something that obviously has been a process for even me, and it is such a huge determining factor. I'll repeat it again, a huge determining factor to whether you're landing those jobs, because guess what? Say you're trying to go for some top of the range job. I'm not even talking about freelance. Let me just make a metaphor, right? Say you're going into some big company, right? And, there's a whole line of 45 people who are applying for the same job, and you're all, for some reason, they called you in at the same time, and you're all lined up, and, you come dressed, really inappropriate, stains on your clothes, stuff like that. Your shoes have a whole bunch of mud on them. I'm describing an extremely ridiculous situation. And you turn up just unpresented, right? Not very well presented. And everybody else turned up properly presented, even if they're not wearing the proper suit and everything, they at least have a clean shirt on, right? That's what you're doing if you're not presenting your work properly. You're turning up with mud on your shoes. You're turning up with, grease in your hair, with fucking a little bit of food still on the bottom that's crusted over and it's now become hard and it's become one with the shirt. You know what I mean? I'm making a fucking ridiculous example here to make you laugh. But, obviously the fact of the matter is if you're not presenting yourself nicely, AKA your work, which is the key determining factor for you getting the job, it makes sense that you're not landing many jobs because the presentation is so key. You're not seeing how everybody else is presenting. And even a pretty cool clue for you guys is if you're trying to get work on a freelance site like Upwork or something like that, try making an account as a person who's hiring. Try making an account not as a freelancer, but as a client. And make a similar job to the stuff you're applying to and describe it as if it's your job, right? And see what people send to you and see the competition that you're actually up against. See how nicely the people who you would actually hire present their work. Look at it and be like, oh, I'd actually hire this guy, or I'd hire this girl right here. She's doing some awesome stuff. Let me take some reference from what this girl here is doing who's nailing it, and let me apply it to what I'm doing, right? So you can sort of create like you could be a little bit of a deceitful person, I guess, or you kind of, it's a little tester to feel the market out. Technically, you're creating a fake post that people are wasting their time applying to, but it's a little bit of market research, I guess you could say. Totally, this is something that freelancers, friends of mine have done this, and it really helped them gather some market research in terms of what they're up against. Who are you up against? How nice are they presenting their work? What are they doing? Are they writing a massive text wall, or are they letting the work speak for itself? A lot of the time, that's what I do. Are they using a video intro, which is essentially a perfect pitch? It's like a YouTube video like this. The video starts and it's like, I'll act like I'm doing it now. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for clicking on the link. I'm Jack, freelance video editor, videographer, and YouTuber, and I'd love to get involved in your project. I've done this and that and this, and then you edit on, the past projects you've done. So the video intro is a banger. Hands down, it's amazing. It works perfectly. I saw a 10x increase in the amount of jobs I'm getting since I incorporated something small like the video intro, which is just a perfect pitch. In a world on the internet where you're doing a lot of remote video editing, there's no physical interaction. So the people don't, in a real life job, they might hire somebody who they like more, who is underskilled, but they just like them more, right? They're like, I just prefer this person. I'd rather work with them. If you're not putting your personality on the line, there's no possibility that's going to be a factor, and they're only hiring based on skill, where they could hire based on the fact that, hey, you know what, they're not quite as good as this person over here, but this person over here was boring as fuck in the interview, and I didn't enjoy them. This person here, little less skilled, but way more of a fun character, way more entertaining. Entertaining might not be a big factor, but way more of a just communicative, very good to speak to, easy freelancer to work with, and they might choose somebody else over that because you've actually put your personality on the line. And that's why also I'd say try to get on an actual call with some of these people. So instead of just communicating all over text, I would try and take it to that next step as fast as you possibly can. That's going to strengthen the relationship with the client. It's also going to make them feel as though you know what you're talking about, assuming that you do know what you're talking about, because obviously the call could be a tell. If you don't know what you're talking about, you get on a call and you start spouting a whole bunch of nonsense, you're going to sound like you don't know what you're talking about. But I assume, again, giving everybody the benefit of the doubt, that you do know what you're talking about. Anyways, number 2, lack of consistency. People just don't apply for enough stuff. I'm going to tell you a funny story, which I shared in my video like 2 days ago as well. Someone hit me up and they said, Jack, I've been applying for work consistently. And they literally said, I've been applying for loads of work for like 12 months now. Why am I not getting a job? And I was like, wow, like, what are they doing wrong? I was confused. And I said, how many jobs have you been applying to a month? And they said, 1. And I said, that's, what are you talking about? How couldn't you have figured that out yourself, that you're just not applying to enough shit? What are you talking about? One job, you know what I mean? Like, it's totally dope that if you have built momentum as a freelancer, you might only need to apply to 1 job a month, and you might have kind of nailed the aspect of applying, therefore you could just land that job every time. The last time I tried to get some work on a remote freelance site, happen instantly. I truly think that right now, because I've done 2 years of experimenting and figuring all these little things out that I'm talking to you guys about, that I could just drum up work overnight. I think if I woke up today and I said, today is my objective is to get a remote freelancing client, I could get it today, instantly. But obviously there's been a process where I would wake up and apply to loads of jobs and might not get any of them because my approach wasn't quite right. So always updating your approach as you go, always going. And in the first stages, right? Being consistent, right? So your lack of consistency and not putting yourself in the right positions could be holding you back, as well as the presentation, right? Is if you're presenting your work nicely and your skill level is just on point, you're a beast, you're smashing it, the skill's not a problem, then you just might not be being consistent enough like that person. So I used to wake up, apply to 30 jobs, wake up the next day, apply to another 30 jobs, wake up the next day, apply to another 30 jobs. I used to apply to a lot of work, and obviously then I would have loads of work coming to me, and I would turn down the ones that weren't high enough pay, and then I would just take on the ones that were. And obviously that's a relatively good strategy. You know what I mean? Like, obviously just applying to more stuff than you're even going to work on. That's exactly what I did, is I was just overly proactive. I would apply to 30 jobs a day, every day for like 3 days in a row, and then I would have, let's say, five clients who, 5 to 10 clients or something like that who wanted to hire me. And I would nitpick the ones that weren't good, the ones that were good, and I would take the kind of the best picking of those people that responded back to me and decided they want to work with me. And that was, my strategy was just go crazy with it. Just fucking flood the market with submissions, tell everybody, I'm here and I'm trying to work. And it definitely worked in the beginning, and now I've gotten to the point where I understand the application process. I understand the kind of mindset of freelancer, of a client, what they're actually looking for, and that's something that just naturally happens to you because you've talked to enough clients, you've figured out enough, you've noticed enough patterns in stuff that's worked for you, and that's more or less it. So first off, let's keep tracing it. How far are we into the strategy right now? It's still pretty simple in my mind. All you got to do is be good at this. You have to have some skills, clearly, obviously. Then you have to present your skills nicely, obviously, very clear. Then you have to just be proactive and consistent in your approach, putting yourself in a position to succeed by applying to the most stuff. Finally, do every project that comes your way in the beginning, regardless of the pay. That's a kind of counterintuitive one, Sort of, maybe. Actually, it makes perfect sense if you think about it for a second. More or less, what you want to do is you just want to touch all the projects because number one, you can't be picky. You don't have work. You've said it yourself. You've clicked on a video called Why You're Not Getting Freelance Jobs. You're not in a position to turn down work. So take every project that comes your way, regardless of price. It might lead to something else. It, at the least, is going to give you experience. Build momentum, which is what naturally happens when you're just applying for work, touching projects, getting involved in stuff. You start to further and you start to build a little bit of momentum, which is going to easily help you to get more jobs because at first, say you've never gotten a job, it seems scary. It seems almost impossible to get a job. Now, once you've gotten 100 jobs, it doesn't seem impossible at all, and it seems something you could just do, right? So that's the momentum I'm talking about. Once you've built up that momentum, it's like starting anything, right? Taking the first step of a 100,000-mile hike. Fuck, that sounds crazy. It's probably tough, but then, the 100,000th step, probably easier than the first. Just seems to make sense, you know what I mean? More or less. So do every project regardless of the price. That's going to obviously set you up to, just build experience at the very least. That's what I'm saying. In terms of the loss to gain ratio on some of the things that I talk about here, that's basically my main determining factor is just what do you lose, what do you gain? By taking every project, you lose nothing. You just literally get loads of experience. You gain pure fucking experience, understanding of client interaction, literally everything. So take every project that comes your way regardless of price. That naturally builds your momentum. And here's a little statement. It gets greater later as a freelancer. I think you got to prove yourself. You got to even prove to yourself at first that you could do this, that you're actually proactive and motivated, self-motivated enough to do it. And then it gets greater later. Later, you can easily drum up work. You start targeting the higher ticket stuff, which enables you to, just get more higher paid stuff. Also, you start noticing patterns where people want consistent people want consistent work. Instead of just tapping in with a client for one project, you tap in with a client for 2 projects a week, 4 projects a month, 18 projects a semester. What the fuck is a semester? Thank you guys for watching. Have a nice day. And I think I covered some good bases on here. Tell me what you thought of the video down below in the description. Not in the description because the description is the bit where I fill in stuff. The comments is where you fill in stuff. Glad we figured that one out together. Thanks for watching. If you're new here, I upload daily content based around video editing, videography, and how to make money making videos. Those are the topics we cover here. Hopefully you're interested in those topics, and if you are, it would make sense for you to convert to a subscriber. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. See you in the next video.